Hello, I am Wayne Johnson with Doc and Queen Ministries, best-selling author of the book entitled Every Child Deserves a Father. Just going to give a few seconds before we get started. So let me just do that. And let's see, when you're still kind of new at this, you want to play with it just a little bit. So just give me a moment. Thank you. Okay, let us get started. Let us get started because I don't want to be long. And this is not really a very long dream. It's a prophetic dream. I know the title has to do with um, I think it's the girl at the stairs, and it doesn't have so much to do with a girl at the stairs, but a girl will be at the stairs. So let us get into it. Now, this dream happened probably about 9 to 10 nights ago. And I was debating if to even do this. So that's why it's been so long. I was letting God lead me on if I needed to share this message. And so in the last couple of days, I could tell God wanted me to release this. So, and then there were some things that he also wanted to share with me. So I'm going to get in it. I'm the type of guy who's really not as organized as I probably should be. So may be some times that I kind of jump back and forth, but hopefully I'm going to stay on point. So the dream was this. I was sitting in my family room. Now I have a game room. I have an Eagles room, a man cave, where most guys watch TV. But for some reason, for me, I watch most movies and television shows outside of football in the family room. So I was in the family room watching TV and eating. And I want to point out that this particular dream has something to do with when you as a standard feels like you the one is the reason why the divine separation has happened, because you're kind of the one who got this started. And I was listening to a live, and I saw in the chat one of the ladies, and I could tell she was a lady because of her name, that she felt like she was the one of the cause of her spouse leaving. And so this is really about when the standard is the reason why this divine separation happened. And so let us go with that. So I'm at the family room, I'm watching TV, and I'm eating. And I believe possibly my dad went out the front door. Not sure if it was my dad, but it was someone who represent authority in my life, someone of power. Now, my dad is no longer living, but it was still someone of authority. And they left out the house. Now, I heard them leave out the house, but I left it at that, kept on watching TV. What I did end up hearing shortly thereafter is evidently the door wasn't shut good. You know, sometimes when you shut the door, but you don't lock it, or you kind of crack it and the wind blows it open, I could hear that. So I got up, and I got some notes here. So I want to make sure I say this right. So I heard the door open like it was not shut tight, and the wind had blew it open. I went to shut the door, and there was a girl, i.e., teenager, woman. And when I say girl, teenage woman, I mean someone that was either 18, 19, in their early 20s, quote unquote, illegal age. They were standing at my steps. So as you come in my door, my steps is very close to that. And it's just interesting how God works, because the picture that I captured this particular video, the steps is right there. the picture that God led me to pull, God is really good. God is good. So I went to shut the door, and the teenager, young woman, let's just say that, was standing at the steps. As I approached her, she began to run around the house inside and then into the bathroom. I opened the bathroom door, and the sink was full of water. She was naked, and then that was the end of the dream. So, of course, it took me a while to understand it. And God has been giving me dreams lately that I have to wait on because for me, they make no sense. But the meaning that He gave me was when my dad left out, or whoever that authority figure, it was definitely a male that was older. When that person went out, the power of God had left the house. Then the door opening up by the wind blowing was the enemy coming in. That's discourse coming in to the home. Now, when the enemy comes, he comes in sneaky and he doesn't be loud about it. And so I could tell that the door was open, but I could barely hear it. So the enemy came in. After that, the girl that ran around the house is to the point of that's when the sexual sin has come upon the place, uh, or sin of any kind for that matter, for anybody. But sin had entered in, and it now is running rapid around the house, because when the authority figure leaves, God Almighty leaves your house, and the enemy comes in, then sin is on. Sin is really on because there's no more covering. So, but I went to chase her around the house, and she was in the bathroom. The door was shut. And when I opened the door, the sink was full of water. She was naked, but I don't know why I was more so focused on the water in the sink. Now, the water in the sink, and I just listened to a lie. A few days ago, they even talked about the bathroom. So I'm sure that's why God had wanted me to wait. And that water in the sink was spiritual cleansing. So the sin that had entered, when you open the door to try to get things back in order, that full of water and that person being naked was, you have to cleanse completely. And so that water represents return of spiritual cleanliness, cleansing, spiritual cleansing. Let's use that, spiritual cleansing. So what I'm here to say is that the spiritual cleansing was about to happen after the covering had left, the sin run rampant, but God returned the spiritual cleansing. It's interesting that He also allowed me to wait on delivering this after I watched this morning the Steve McNair death story. And like I said, it's just something about God and waiting on God's timing. A lot of times we get something and we can't wait to tell somebody something. We can't wait to just blurt it out and figure it out. Sometimes we have to just step back, meditate, and allow God to move in a way that we can now understand. It's interesting also that I have been studying the book of Proverbs, and I've started at the very first chapter. And I'm kind of like at chapter 6. So it's just interesting how God works. I hope that this is going to help someone who feels kind of like they were the reason why this happened. But God has a reason for everything. And even though you may, as a standard, feel like you are the one who is the reason for your divine separation at this point, that God can clear things up. All you have to do is repent and change your ways, and then follow in the steps that God would have you to follow. I hope that this has helped. Like I said, I didn't want to bring it. I really didn't want to even deliver a prophetic word like this, because I don't feel that I'm called to be a prophet, and I don't want to get into somebody else's lane when it's not my lane. However, when we allow God to use us, there's times that even if we're not called to that position, there still may be times that we operate in that position. Take care. God bless. Hope that those who look at this later, that this will help them. But in the meantime, keep allowing God to lead you in the right direction. Take care.